Tampa, Florida, a very important event at the Tampa Convention Center, and that's SOFIC, and it's supporting the special ops folks that really have made a difference. And I noticed that their manning has gone up to over 90,000. So it's a very powerful force, and so we're very lucky to have Rick Bueno with us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so tell us a little briefly about yourself and about Trivalent.
We started in 2010. We were born out of the defense industry primarily. The notion there was to develop some data security analytic products that would enable information sharing rapidly for the warfighter. Also, we understood that the mobile device space was going to become a key capability for special forces and the conventional forces, and we wanted to create a data protection product that could withstand the rigors of tactical operations, but also support commercial entities. And so that's where we have concentrated our efforts.
Well, you know, Trivalent uses a kind of an encryption and shredding approach as a way to secure storage on a device or in the cloud. So Rick, can you briefly tell us a little bit more about this data alchemy which you have that really transforms the properties of data, making it wholly unusable and unrecoverable to, of course, unauthorized parties?
Absolutely. So the conventional approach of just using encryption has proven time and again to be insufficient, especially when we're suffering from the next generation hackers. The ransomware is a good example of that just most recently. And we've seen these sophisticated attacks increase over time, and they're attacking really our most trusted enterprises, to include Department of Defense, Secret Service. And as we move out towards the use of mobile devices and laptops in those operations, then those attacks become even more risky. So approaching this from a standard encryption technology was insufficient. So we added additional protection measures, and part of that, as you mentioned, was the data sharing and or data shredding. The data shredding capability, which has been fully tested by NSA, incidentally, and has achieved a top secret certification through NIAP, is another layer of defense that's incorporated with the encryption. When you combine that along with some other capabilities that are part of our intellectual property, we have a very, very robust capability that is successful in thwarting these next generation attacks.
Well, you know, your security protection offering also gained classified program approval, which, you know, by the National Security Agency, allowing classified information to be stored on mobile devices in connected and also in disconnected mode.
That's correct, and the reason we did that was, again, this is a commercial product that can support operational environments. And as part of the operational environment, we realized that the warfighter is going to often be in a disconnected mode. So having a data security product or data protection product that always needs to be connected to some server just isn't a tenable approach for tactical operators. As you look at the commercial industry, there are times when your phone or your laptop is not connected to the internet. And so by moving that same requirement out of the tactical operations into the commercial industry, we can now ensure that you have a fully robust data protection solution that operates equally in disconnected and connected modes.
So, you know, the question I have is, you know, how can the SOF warfighter, if you will, be able to protect battlefield data on a on-move environment using Trivalent's security approach? So.
Right. Great question. As I mentioned earlier, we understood that the Department of Defense and Special Forces are rolling out with the use of mobile devices. Predominantly, we've seen this in the Android operating system. And so in that context, they're going to be using these mobile devices to do everything from tactical support, intelligence gathering, call for fire operations, using maps and imagery to understand the terrain that they're going to operate in. All of that content is going to be stored on those mobile devices. When the operator's in a tactical environment, they're in a very high-risk environment, and they're subject to loss of the device, breakage, or, you know, unfortunately, if there's a situation where they get captured, we need to do something to make sure that that data is not exfiltrated off the phone and used against the Department of Defense of the United States. And so this technology ensures the protection of that highly classified data and that mission data on those phones, regardless of the state that it's in.
Well, this is really great to know. I know Trivalent has really worked very closely with United States Department of Defense to integrate your unique product offerings into mission critical mobility platforms as you have been speaking about. So my question is, what can you share with us about that relationship and SOCOM mobility product offerings at this convention?
So for this particular convention and our relationship with SOCOM, which goes back about three or 4 years now, we are developing the military-grade capabilities that U.S. Special Forces is finding particularly interesting. I can't go into details about specific operations or missions, but I can state that we satisfy multiple requirements that have been expressed to us by U.S. Special Forces. But when we first started developing this capability, we certainly didn't do it in a vacuum. We met often with NSA, with U.S. Special Forces, even with United States Secret Service and other civil federal agencies to really understand what their needs were from a commercial product. Simultaneously, we met with commercial industry leaders, payment credit card industry, healthcare, to understand what it would take in order to satisfy their requirements for this capability. So we developed this product so that it was scalable for both military and defense and commercial use. This way, it's a highly commoditized product. The price is something that's digestible by the United States Department of Defense with the budgets that we've had in the past, and can also be fully used in the commercial industry.
Wow, that's very good planning, and I think visionary in the sense of a great mobility, if you will, suite, if you will, and to also use it for other areas of the industry, different areas of the industry. So, you know, I was thinking about this, you know, will your technology be incorporated in the U.S. Army's F110 G3 rugged computer tablets designed to transmit combat relevant information in high threat environments?
Yes, that's a Getac platform. It's a ruggedized Windows system that has been tested with our technology on it, and this is primed and ready to go not only in the United States but in UK as well. We have a distribution partnership that also is using that particular platform for conventional and UK Special Forces. So that's a great partnership that we've had with Getac. We're also incorporated into one of their Android devices that U.S. Special Forces and UK Special Forces are interested in using going forward.
You know, as we know, you know, we've kind of gone through a roller coaster here in regards to U.S. defense spending, of course.
Right.
And so now an extra $25 billion was allocated. I'm very happy to see the defense budget finally getting where it should be. But under the of course, under the current administration. So the question is, how do you see your market for cybersecurity offerings over the next 3 years? What's your view of, you know, where your opportunities are?
Well, with an increase in the budget, that certainly allows flexibility for the implementation of next generation capabilities. But in tandem with that is a recognition by those acquisition leaders in the Department of Defense that security isn't something that they simply have to do, but they're beginning to realize that security is something that they certainly must do and should want to do. And by developing our technology the way we did, we made it a seamless integration, and it's very easy to use, and the price point's there. So when the budgets are now available for them to make best-of-breed choices and not have to sacrifice and compromise on security, we're certain that we're going to be in the forefront of those decision points.
You know, before we kind of wind up, I was just kind of wondering, you know, we're talking about tablets, ruggedized tablets. Will that be applicable for all, you know, tablets, or is it just certain manufacturers who can really utilize this very unique technology that you've brought forth? That's
a great question. We were very careful to make our solution available on any Windows and any Android platform. This platform diversity, as we call it, allows the government to choose best-of-breed solutions in terms of the hardware that they need for the specific environment. So in certain cases, a ruggedized tablet and Android devices are certainly needed in a high tactical environment, but not so much so in an office setting or even in a street setting where you're doing investigations, for example. You wouldn't necessarily need a ruggedized platform. So our solutions can scale across any of those as long as they work, for example, on a Windows platform from version 7 all the way up to version 10. And with Android, we're available on version 4.1 all the way up to version 6, which is the latest version. And we're currently building a Linux platform that will support some of the operations that we know require Linux operatings. The Linux variant is used often, especially when it comes to high processing needs, doing analytics, and doing things that require a little bit more mathematical computation. Sometimes those algorithms that are being used in those computations need to be protected, and so that's where we can come in.
Well, you know, I think, Rick, you've really provided our subscribers a very good insight into your company and also into yourself. And do you have any other points you would like to make as we kind of conclude our meeting?
Just one point, that Trivalent is a company that is truly dedicated to enabling not only the defense sector for the United States primarily, and then our coalition partners, but also commercial sector, because in as much as data, classified data is important to the Department of Defense, intellectual property data, healthcare data, financial data are important to the consumers and important to those companies that use that data in order to provide services. So when we provide a solution for the Department of Defense, we want our consumers to understand that on the commercial side, they're getting exactly the same level of robust security. There's no compromise there, because we believe that that information that you're using to protect your healthcare data or your credit card data is just as important to you as classified data is to the Department of Defense.
Yeah, well, that's a very good ending point. I want to thank you on behalf of GMC Stream TV and also our subscribers. It's been really a great meeting, and I'm so happy to see that you're doing great at this conference, and also that your product sets will really protect our warriors in the field. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Richard. Great to be here.
Data on our connected devices is at risk every day. We're constantly worried it will be compromised by hackers and unauthorized parties. Even when devices remain in our control, hackers or unauthorized users may gain access to the data on our device or cloud storage. Additionally, with ongoing breaches, we run the risk of non-compliance penalties. Government agencies also require a layered approach for file-level protection. In this hostile and compliance-driven landscape, Trivalent's next-generation data protection gives us back control and freedom to operate. Trivalent's unique process of encryption, shredding, and secure storage called data alchemy transforms the properties of our data. The data becomes completely useless and unrecoverable to unauthorized users. So when we have a breach or a device is lost or stolen, our data is still protected at all times with Trivalent Protect. It stays with our data at rest in both connected and disconnected modes, in use and in transit. Trivalent's data security and privacy protection is NSA approved and supports many platforms across diverse industries. Trivalent Protect surpasses full disk encryption, and IT and security teams can easily deploy and configure many seamless end-user experiences. Achieve the highest level of data protection